What's up, guys? My name's John Camacho, and this is the Between the Pylons YouTube channel. And the Sunday night games just ended, or all the Sunday games just ended. I spent a full day watching football, and this week I'm not drunk because I started early and ended early. So it's been a full day watching football, and it was a lot of fun. Before we really get into it, I'm just going to say, fuck having 10 1 o'clock games because it is insanely hard to keep up with everything. I don't like that. Hopefully the schedules can be way better because that was just some fucking bullshit. But let's get into it. I'm just going to kind of go down the line, look at these games. Obviously, a couple blowouts. We'll start with the blowouts first. 49ers blew out the Bengals, which the Bengals were actually favored in this game. I didn't see it. I had the 49ers favored to win. Obviously not 41-17, but it was a good game. I didn't get to see a lot of this game. Honestly, every time I saw it, it was just like a long run or a long play because the 49ers just absolutely crushed the Bengals. To me, that's not a huge surprise. Like, I feel like that Zach Taylor offense is going to get really, really old really fast. And, I mean, the Bengals looked pretty okay last week, but that, I feel like, it's going to go down when they're playing good offenses. And the 49ers are a good offense, and that was evident. Matt Breida, 12 carries, 121 yards. Morster, their backup running back, I don't even know his full name, killed it. Like, absolutely killed it for the 49ers. Like, I saw he had like 24 fantasy points. I don't remember. I don't see right here where he has. Let me look real quick. Dead time. Y'all love this, I know. Yeah, 13 carries, 83 yards, and then he had a bunch of receiving yards too. He had 3 catches for another 68 yards. So that rushing attack was on point today. And the Bengals were susceptible last week to the Seahawks. So I would look at that moving forward. Bengals are not great against the run. That has been evident. Moving on, we don't need to spend much time talking about the Dolphins getting blown out by the Patriots. Saw a little bit of Antonio Brown. They kind of they trotted him out in the first series. Gave him a couple catches. And he had that great touchdown to grab, which was good, even though I'm a Dolphins fan, and it sucked watching the Patriots absolutely destroy us. But in 49-0, I don't think anybody's surprised. Like, the line was like 18 points when I looked at it, and that was low. And I think everyone else knew that was low. This was a little bit of a surprise to me. I had the Chargers beating the Lions, and it was like the whole game was kind of back and forth. The Chargers struggled, but you could kind of tell it felt like the Chargers were going to pull away from it in the end, and they had a chance to. Philip Rivers throws an interception in the corner of the end zone, and Lions come away with their first win of the season, which was so they're 1-0-1, so they haven't lost yet. That's good. It was kind of an ugly game. Stafford threw a couple interceptions. Of course, Philip Rivers, I believe, threw 2 interceptions. Just the one. I'm sorry. It was all right. Eckler killed it again. I saw a stat during that game that said that in the 8 games that Melvin Gordon has not played in the past 2 years, the Chargers haven't lost one. Meaning, at this time, this is the first game the Chargers have lost without Melvin Gordon. And I mean, they're rolling without Melvin. They don't need him. Melvin should have taken the $11 million a year and came to work, but he decided to hold out, and I don't think it's going to be good for him long term. So I'm excited to see him whenever he gets back. I think that'll help the team. Oh, and if y'all didn't see it, that Kerryon Johnson touchdown, you guys got to see that. He bobbles it and ends up scooting in for a touchdown, like 35-yard touchdown. Great play. Packers took care of the Vikings. Felt like the Packers had that the whole way. They went up early. They scored all their points in the first half. And the Vikings, I mean, I feel like the way that game worked out, the Vikings did not want to play a catch-up game. And Kirk Cousins isn't built for that. He's just not. Like, the Vikings are built to run the ball and control the game and play with a lead, and they just didn't today, so they couldn't really do a whole lot, I feel like. But Dalvin Cook still looked good. Had a 75-yard touchdown, which was awesome. Titans lose to the Colts, which was a really, really good game. I'm actually probably going to rewatch and like do a little bit of a deep dive in this game. Brissett throws 3 touchdowns. I know he had an interception I think he had 2 interceptions that were really kind of all over the place. Yeah. Oh no, just the one interception, which was like a fluky interception. Marcus Mariota. Every time I looked at this game, Mario looked good. Like I was like, holy shit! Like I'm somebody who shits on Mariota a lot, and I was really excited to see what Mario was doing. Like he was balling out a little bit. Derrick Henry got the majority of the touches, 81 yards. He's Derrick Henry. Like he can look really fucking good on one play and then look really fucking shitty on another play. It's amazing how that works out. Jordan Wilkins was a running back for the Colts that got a lot more work than I think anybody expected. Only 5 carries, but had a 55-yard run that was a big bulk. It was a big play for the Colts, and I know he had some receptions too. Yeah, or just one, I guess. But yeah, that was a little surprising considering that's their number 3 running back. But maybe I guess he's overtaken Naeem Hines in carries, so he's the number 2 running back now, I suppose. But yeah. AJ Green still looks good, or AJ Brown looks good. AJ Green looks good too when he's healthy. 3 catches, 25 yards, something special there. Yeah, that was about it there. My boy Paris Hilton got a touchdown. I was hype, so hype. Load. Bills Giants, guys, y'all gotta realize the Bills are legit this year. Like the Bills are legit. I'm telling y'all. Josh Allen is not perfect, but he's good enough. I really believe that. Their defense is, I think, the best in football right now, and I mean they're rolling. I feel like last week they had every reason to lose that game. They played an absolutely terrible game, gave up 4 turnovers, and were still able to squeeze out a victory. And this week, I know it's the Giants, but they took care of business, and they look good. I'm really excited for the Bills moving forward. I think this is a team that, people are going to look at the wins, and they're not quality wins, and they're going to be like, well, whatever. But, I mean, people are going to sleep on the Bills because they're a good football team. They've put it together. And I think this is the year for the Bills to make some noise and possibly make the playoffs, which would be cool. The Steelers are 0-2 now, losing to the Seahawks, who are now 2-0. Roethlisberger gets hurt, which people are going to blame a lot of that on Roethlisberger getting hurt. I don't know. I tend to think that game kind of would have gone the same way either way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Roethlisberger makes a couple plays, which he so often does. But to me, it felt like the Seahawks were the better football team, and they came away with the win in the end. I really like the way Mason Rudolph played. I didn't see a ton of that second half game, but from what I did see, I thought he looked pretty good. Rashad Penny kind of came out there and is going to scare a lot of Chris Carson owners because Rashad Penny looked really good with 10 carries, 62 yards and a touchdown. Russell Wilson, can't go wrong there. And I think a lot of things coming out of this game, people are going to ask themselves, can Juju Smith-Schuster be the number 1 receiver? I kind of still think he can. I think they've had 2 matchups that just have not been positive for the Steelers. Like, the way the Steelers want to play, they're not going to, I don't feel like, win a lot of, like they lost to the Patriots, which is the Patriots, and then they played the Seahawks, and to me, this was a game that was going to favor the Seahawks, and I had the Seahawks winning this game straight up, and they did, and it was a closer one than even I think I expected, honestly. I had the Seahawks winning by 4, and they won by 2, so it's in the same range, but still. Cowboys took care of business with the Redskins. Dak looks really fucking good. Like, Cowboys are going to have to pay this man real money. Elliott looked good. Tony Pollard got a touchdown, stole one from Elliott, which I thought was kind of funny. And I mean, honestly, Redskins, like, they've lost to 2 really good teams, like 2 really good division opponents back to back on the past 2 weeks. So I think they look better than I think maybe the final scores may say for them. Like, they look like a team that can make some noise, at least put some points on the board, and like they haven't really, struggled to do that, I feel like. Cardinals, Ravens. Ravens took care of business with the Cardinals. They didn't cover, which I didn't think they would. I thought the line was insane. The Ravens were favored by 13 points when I looked at it, and I thought that was way too much. But the Cardinals really were never in a position to win that game. The one thing I did take away from this game, the Cardinals need to work on their red zone offense, because they just do not have enough plays when it gets down close to the goal line, and it's an air raid offense, so it kind of makes sense that like once you lose that much extra room and you can't beat them with speed all the time, what can you do? And a lot of it was like, oh, we're going to throw up a 50-50 ball to Larry Fitzgerald, or stuff like that, and that wasn't clicking. And I have some issues there. First three quarters of that game, Cardinals put up a field goal in each quarter, and to me, like, that could have easily been three touchdowns, and we're talking about the Cardinals in a much different light right now. But they weren't able to put it in and win the game. The Lamar Jackson looks really fucking good. I mean, shit, he looks really good. He's legit. I don't think anybody can say he isn't. Like, throwing dots all over the field. Took 16 carries for 120 yards. The dude was rushing it. Absolutely killed it. I'm very excited for what Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are doing. I do think people are going to get a little bit overhyped. Like, they've played the Cardinals and the Dolphins. Like, let's just keep everything in perspective. Of course, he's looked good, but he's played the Cardinals and the Dolphins. Like, I have Lamar Jackson in one league, and I'm looking to sell high right now, because it's like, you're not going to get more value for a quarterback than right now. And do you think he's Patrick Mahomes and he can, keep this going? And from a fantasy standpoint, obviously not from a throwing and quarterback standpoint, but from a fantasy standpoint, do you think he's the guy that can keep this going all year and be a legit QB1, or do you think he's going to kind of fizzle out? I tend to believe that if he's not going to fizzle out, he's gonna face harder challenges, and this is the ceiling for him, and I don't think that's going to be a weekly 30 points a week isn't realistic for him. I don't think. Texans got lucky against the Jags. Gardner Minshew. It was an ugly game. It really was not pretty from either team's perspective. Gardner Minshew though. Looked good. Looked like he could handle the offense. Led the Jaguars down for a touchdown to the end, and I mean they were a couple inches away from scoring a 2-point conversion and winning that game. Two different teams that went for it at the end of the game to get to and win the game right there instead of going to overtime, which I really respect that. I really like that. Worked out for one team, did not work out for the Jaguars. So that is what it is. Actually, it didn't work out for either team, but one team got the 2 points and the other team didn't. Going on to the 3 o'clock games, the Chiefs destroyed the Raiders. I mean, this game kind of happened exactly the way I thought, except Robinson got way more touchdowns than I thought he would. Demarcus Robinson, 6 receptions, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns. That was insane. But I mean, I even wrote in my article for last week, Josh Jacobs was a sit candidate for me, because I mean it just was not a plus matchup, and they don't put him out there on throwing downs really, which I think is a mistake for the Raiders. I think Josh Jacobs is a much more dangerous back than Richard, excuse me. But yeah, I don't think anybody's surprised by that. Patrick Mahomes the things, and the Raiders weren't really able to keep up. They put up 10 points early, and then it was all Chiefs the rest of the way. Actually, no, it was just all Chiefs in the second quarter, and then there was no points left in the rest of the game. Bears-Broncos, probably one of the better games of the week. I would probably say this is the best game of the week for my money. It was a super exciting defensive showdown between two defensive teams, and I mean, it went right down to the wire. The Broncos were able to go down and get the 2-point conversion. Emmanuel Sanders, by the way, like still doing it at his age is awesome, man. Like number 10 killed it for the Broncos today. They get to the 2-point conversion, and then I mean Mitchell Trubisky. Like you can say whatever you want about him, but shit, man, this dude is clutch. Like he's been able to take his team down and put his team in positions to win time and time again. Like in the playoff game last year, the double doink, he let his team down to get that field goal opportunity, and that field goal should have been scored. I mean, in today's game, he led his team down to exactly where they needed to be to get a chance to score a field goal, and their kicker puts it in, and they win the game. And it was a really fucking good game. The Bears are 1-1, and they're looking good. I'm a little nervous about that offense. I'm praising Trubisky for his clutch factor, but he is incredibly inaccurate, and it is frustrating. You see him miss a lot of throws, and it's just consistently missing a lot of throws, which is very scary. But they've kind of realized David Montgomery's the guy. Looks like he got 18 carries, 62 yards and a touchdown. And I think against a lesser defense, those numbers are just going to go up. So really excited for David Montgomery moving forward. Rams took care of business with the Saints. Saints quarterback Drew Brees gets hurt, and then, I mean, honestly, it felt like once Drew Brees got hurt, the Saints really just could not do anything. It's amazing how much that guy runs that offense just to a T. And it was all Rams. Rams took care of business, won that game decidedly, 27-9. 9-27, that's my birthday. Look at that. And then the final game of the night, game that I just got done watching, Eagles-Falcons. Super, super fun game to watch. Actually, let me rephrase that. It was a fun game at the end to watch. There were points where, God, there was just a lot of miscues, a lot of interceptions. In the first quarter, I was telling my buddy that I was watching the game with that, I mean, shit. Every time there was a batted ball, there was an interception, man. Like Carson Wentz threw 2 interceptions. Matt Ryan threw 3 interceptions and didn't look very good. I don't think Atlanta dropping back to throw 43 times is not a recipe for success for that team. Worked out for them today, but God, that was an ugly game. The Eagles were just decimated with injuries. I had Atlanta winning, but I didn't expect them to win like this. And I don't think if the Eagles had all their guys, I don't think they would have lost this game. I'm not gonna lie. That's it, guys. I left it a little bit shorter. Tried to cut down the bullshit this week, and also I was really drunk last week, so a little bit better. Let me know what you guys thought. Look forward to my articles that are going to be coming out. I'm thinking I'm going to write 2 articles this week. I'm going to have one about the injured quarterbacks and what's going to be going on the rest of the week. Of course, I do my weekly predictions article. And then look out for a lot of, the podcasts. I like to do a couple deep dives. Look out for all that. Going to be a busy week, man. This is really when it starts rolling. We're going into week 3. We can kind of get a sense, maybe not yet. There's a little bit of, I think our eyes can still be deceiving. Like the Ravens beat up on 2, really bad defenses, and things like that are going to kind of work themselves out as the season goes on. But I mean, we're getting a glimpse of what the 2018 season is going to be, and I'm really excited. Thanks, guys. Bye.